interesting, very, very interesting thing right in front of you is called a spike. Because one end of it is a knife that you cut the kiwi fruit with, and the other end is a spoon. And you don't need to use the knife for the spike, but you use the spoon for the spike. What I really want you to do is to actually close your eyes and have a small bite and feel, but this is probably the first time you're actually absorbing a flavor like this. To retain it for life, it's like, you know, the way our food business works, it works on food memories. I want this to be a food memory. So let's start with the spoon.
Chef, before they actually do it, is anybody doing it? Do it, please. I mean, it's there on your desk. Chef, you have to raise a toast, right?
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, actually I'm curious, what do stars generally snack on between shoots, since you're from Bollywood?
Well, we snack on many things because we have a lot of moments in between shoot where we're waiting and we need to keep our energies up, especially when we have long, 16-hour days and stuff. So generally it's really, the things that go around on set are like coffee, tea, biscuits, really sugary, unhealthy sort of snacks, samosas and fries, pakoras. I mean, that's what comes around when you're on a set. So, if we ate that every day, we wouldn't fit into our costumes. So, so we do have to sort of find ways to be more healthy. And I think, the kiwi fruit, I read somewhere that it's a superfruit, and it's got all these ingredients which are great for you. It's also full of energy, so it's a great fruit to have as a snack.
Great. Now, during all those snacky times during your shoots, including samosa, when was the last time you had a samosa?
Oh, I eat samosas.
Yeah. All right. Do you think there's place for the kiwi fruit?
No, there is absolutely a place because I think it's a very malleable fruit. It can be put in salad, it can be put in food, as well as just had as a snack on its own. So and it's healthy because it's got the skin around it. So it's hygienic. You can easily cut it and eat it. So yeah, there's many reasons why I would want to eat this fruit. I personally love the taste of the fruit as well, and this particular one, which has been sort of made for the desi palate, which is a little sweeter than the normal kiwi, I think is great because I'm a big fan of mangoes, for example. I love sweet fruits, grapes, mangoes, and I think this kiwi, this sun-gold kiwi, is very, very good.
Great. Now, what's your take, Kalki, on this variant, the sun-gold kiwi fruit?
Yeah, as I was saying, I think I just answered that question.
Okay. Great. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving Kalki to you for a couple of questions. Would any of you like to ask Kalki a question? Yes.
Hi Kalki, good evening.
Hi.
Wanted to know the secret of your fitness apart from eating right. Is there anything that you do while you're on the set because you're always traveling?
I don't know if there is any secret except moderation. You know, having small amounts rather than eating a lot. I think eating small snacks rather than eating big meals. I swim every day, so that always helps. I think doing some form of exercise every day. But yeah, that's it. And staying happy, I guess that helps as well.
And do you also cook since we have a chef also?
Do I cook? I cook for an audience. It's a bit like my acting. I don't cook for myself very often, but if I have like a bunch of people, I really like baking. So I love making tarts, actually kiwi tarts and strawberry tarts and breads. So I like doing that, yeah.
And do you try out new restaurants while you're traveling, or do you keep to shopping?
Yeah, I'm a complete foodie. I love to try out local food wherever I am. Because, you know, we usually stay in a hotel, and hotel food is pretty much generic around the globe. So it's really nice to go out into the local, like, places and try food.
Which destination, if you would have to say your favorite, globally and locally?
Kashmiri food. I love Kashmiri food. Goshtava, rishta, yakhni. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to ask Kalki a question? Yes, gentleman at the back. Yes, thank you, sir.
Hello.
Hi. Can't see you, sir.
My question to you is how much it is going to affect conditions, weather conditions and all?
I didn't hear, sorry.
The gentleman Kalki is asking you, how much would this affect the Indian weather conditions?
This fruit?
This fruit.
This is probably a question that Pooja would be better at answering.
Okay, we're getting around next. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Kalki. Sir, Pooja Miss is going to answer your question because perhaps it's on nutrition. And we will... One more? Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Kalki.
Kalki, the question is to you. There's one final question to you, the gentleman there. Please.
How different is this fruit from an Indian fruit?
As we've said before, this fruit has actually been sort of marketed and made for the Indian palate. So, although I think the kiwi is an exotic fruit, it's not a very Indian fruit at all. This particular version, the Sun Gold, that they worked for 10 years in naturally growing, is much sweeter than the green kiwi fruit, and I think in that sense it's a lot more made for the desi palate. So I think hopefully it will catch on.
Thank you. Thank you for your valuable inputs, Kalki. I'd now like to move on to our next special panelist, and that is ace nutritionist Pooja Makija.
She has not replied my question.
She's answering. She directed it to Pooja, sir. You will get an answer. Thank you so much. Now, Pooja, what made you decide?
Well, I think being associated with pioneers of good work speaks for itself. So if we've had availability of a fruit which we hadn't, and we have it from a company which are supposed to be the only ones who export them out of New Zealand, I think associating with those who speak clearly and truthfully about their products would be something that I would associate with.
Great. Now, can you tell me what are the three things which sets the Zespri Sun Gold apart from the rest of the fruits, please?
I think the flavor, as Kalki just said, which is so suited for us because we're not very particularly fond of extremely tangy things, but our palate is more favorable towards something which is slightly sweeter but still has a tangy taste. And I think this adapts so well to our flavors and palate. And I think something which is as portable as this, it is clearly said that it's better to eat whole fruit versus cut fruit. And this is something which is so easy to carry around. It's compact when it's uncut, easy to cut, scoop and slurp. So I think it just holds all its nutrition beautifully inside, while the skin is around it, no oxidation, no exposure, no loss of vitamins. And as a kiwi fruit, it's enriched in its antioxidants. So it's something which is bursting with goodness. Vitamin C to its highest levels, helping you with your skin, with your immunity, with your heart, with blood pressure, with kidney stone. There's just a whole entourage of health benefits that is associated with a kiwi fruit. And I think that clearly sets it apart. And now, more than anything, it's easy to procure. We don't have to be traveling abroad to be able to chomp down the goodness of the kiwi, but I could even just order it online or get it home and easily be able to eat it every day. I think that's what sets it apart.
And that's a big thank you to Ritesh. Very easy to procure. That's what the public says. Super. Now, tasty, heavenly fruit was originated in China.
Yeah, that's true. The interesting story about kiwi fruit was that it's actually native to China. It's and that's the indigenous name of the kiwi fruit. And so you might be wondering, well, how did it become called the kiwi fruit and how did it end up being developed in New Zealand? Well, in 1904 there was a lady called Isabel Fraser who was a teacher in New Zealand, and she was travelling through China to the Yangtze Valley with her sister and saw this fruit and thought it looked pretty amazing. So she picked up some seeds and seedlings and brought them back to New Zealand. And she gave them to her uncle, Alexander Ellison, who was a horticulturalist. And he started to grow the fruit, grow the vines and sell the fruit. And at that time it was known as Chinese gooseberries. And then it was known as Chinese gooseberries right the way up until the 1960s. And New Zealand was exporting these Chinese gooseberries all around the world. And our American importers said, look, Chinese gooseberry doesn't roll off the tongue particularly easy, it's not very catchy. Can you come up with a different name? So a couple of guys who were working in New Zealand in the kiwi fruit industry were sitting around saying, well, it's a small, brown, hairy, kind of furry fruit, kind of like the New Zealand bird, the kiwi, and we're selling it from New Zealand, so we'll call it the kiwi fruit. So in 1960, in the mid-1960s, they started calling this the kiwi fruit, and that's how the name kiwi fruit came about, and now it's known globally as the kiwi fruit.
Thank you. Tell us something a little about the brand and Sun Gold in India.
Yeah, so the brand, as I mentioned before, the kiwi fruit growers came together to form the Zespri company, and just to ensure the quality of the product, the consistency of the product, the marketing of it. So no orchardist is their kiwi fruit until it reaches a certain sweetness level. So that just ensures the quality. And so the Zespri brand is really an identity that consumers can trust and know that it's a good quality product, that it's safe, and that it's good for their health. And so in India we've been, for the last 8 or 9 years, pushing kiwi fruit slowly, until the last 4 years where things have really picked up. And Sun Gold is probably the perfect product for India because of the great sweet taste and the fact that it's ready to eat. So as soon as you buy it, you can take it home and eat it. It doesn't take any time.
My favorite fruit, I actually really do love the kiwi fruit because it was such an unattainable fruit growing up. I also love strawberries, I love blueberries, I like all those berries.
So as a child, did you start eating
As a child, you know, we had an overdose of bananas because we were in South India, and coconuts. So I was never like very fond of those, and I always wanted to, you know, have like these exotic fruits. But I did love jackfruit.
Okay. So what's your mantra for the fit health?
I think it's just about moderation. I think there's no easy diet that you can go on or a quick sort of fix for health. I think it's about eating small quantities throughout the day, and that's why I think fruit is really important because you can eat it throughout the day, and it's not something which is going to, you know, add a lot of sort of calories to your overall day of calorie intake. So I think, yeah, I think it's really important to eat small amounts rather than eat lots of big meals.
So what's your message for the viewers, like who don't eat especially?
Yeah, eat please. You know, I do think that we have a culture of not eating much fresh fruit and vegetables because we eat a lot of like cooked food. So it's great to be aware of the goodness. The kiwi fruit especially has a lot of antioxidants in it, which it helps you against pollution. It helps with aging, with wrinkles. It keeps you sort of your skin in good shape for the sun. So, you know, fruits can be really helpful, and I think it's important to be aware of that.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. With